Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be trying a new drugstore foundation. I've been so excited to get my hands on this one. I am going to be trying the NYX Bear With Me Blur Skin Tint Foundation. I love the NYX Bear With Me concealer, so I knew I wanted to try this and we're going to do it together. So let's get into it. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty and makeup content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll subscribe and let's go ahead and get started with the video. All right, so I did go ahead and do some brow gel, or not brow gel, but the brow freeze in my brows. And then I do have a little bit of corrector under my eyes since I usually do that before I do foundation. I have on this one from Neutrogena today. So let's get into this. This is the NYX Bear With Me Blur Tint Foundation. So what's interesting to me right away about this is the Bear With Me line. A year or two ago, they had a skin tint and it was very light coverage. I remember I tried it. I think it was just called the Bear With Me Skin Tint. It was very sheer, very light coverage. Basically the opposite of what this is claiming to be. So it's kind of interesting that they discontinued that one and came out with this one. But I love the Bear With Me concealer. I've talked about this so many times, so I'm very excited to try this. So this comes in 24 shades. It's supposed to be a buildable medium coverage. It's supposed to have a matte finish and blur your skin. So it's supposed to help with texture and pores and just kind of smooth over your skin. So for that reason, I'm not going to use any primer today. All I have on is my usual skincare and my sunscreen. I have two shades. I ordered one. I bought one in store. So I have shade Vanilla, which is this one, and shade Light Neutral. So shade 5 and shade 4. I bought Vanilla originally because Vanilla is the shade that I wear in the concealer, and I really like this shade. So I assumed I would probably be Vanilla in this foundation, but I went ahead and bought light medium, or not light medium, light neutral also. These look to me like they ran a little bit dark when I was looking at them in Ulta. This is Vanilla up here and this is light medium. So Vanilla is definitely warmer, light medium, or light neutral is obviously more neutral. Let me kind of spread these out a little bit on my hand so you can see. So the bottom one is light neutral and the top one is vanilla. So there's a pretty big difference in the undertone between the two. I'm actually going to just pump out a little bit of the concealer on my hand in vanilla just to see if it looks the same as vanilla in... Okay, and it definitely doesn't. So this is very interesting. I'm glad I did that. So this is shade Vanilla in the concealer. This is shade Vanilla in the skin tint. And then this is light medium, or light neutral. I keep saying light medium. So that's interesting. Vanilla in the concealer is definitely not as yellow toned as Vanilla in the foundation. I almost wonder if I should mix them, because then light neutral looks pretty pinky to me. That one looks really yellow, so I almost wonder if I should mix the two. Okay, I was thinking about mixing them, but I won't do that in case you want to see each shade individually. So I think what I might do is do one on each side. Do vanilla over here and light neutral over here. So we'll do my right, it may look like your left. We'll do that side first with the shade Vanilla. But yeah, right away, definitely more warm toned than the concealer in the same shade. Definitely a thicker consistency, like it's not super liquidy, it's not like running down my hand or anything. Okay, I'm gonna use a brush that has nothing on it. So I'm just going to use this one. And we will start blending this in. So a little bit about my skin type if you're not familiar with my channel. My skin is, I would say, pretty normal. I don't have oily skin and I don't have dry skin. I would say it's just kind of right in the middle. I do have sensitive skin, but I don't have acne-prone skin. I don't really struggle with a lot of skin texture. If I do struggle with pores or noticing them, it's like right here in my T-zone area. So I feel like it doesn't look as yellow on my skin, does it? Maybe it does. Maybe when I watch this footage back, it does look pretty yellow, but to me, it really doesn't look yellow once you blend it in, which is interesting. Okay, I have a little bit left on the back of my hand, so I'm gonna add some more since it does claim to be buildable. It's definitely pretty matte, so that I would agree with. It's a very, very good coverage. In fact, I would actually say it's maybe even more than medium coverage. For some reason on my skin, it does not look as yellow. I don't know, let me know what you think, but to me, it really does not. So there is one side done. Let me grab a small mirror so I can see. Initial impression, okay, I don't think it's enhancing texture, so that I do agree with. My skin overall looks pretty smooth, but it looks very dry. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very dry. So I don't know, I applied my same skincare and I don't really have dry skin, so I do think it looks a little dry. The coverage is pretty good. Not full coverage, but I would say between a medium full coverage with not a ton of product. Very, very matte looking, not glowy for sure. Let's go ahead and do this side and we'll see what we think about the other shade, but it's very interesting. This one on my skin does not look yellow at all, but then when you pump it out on my hand, it does. So I don't know. So we'll do this side with light neutral. And I'm gonna switch to a different brush that is clean. This is the Morphe JH03. I have a little bit left on my hand, so I'm gonna add this like we did on the other side. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't look that different, I feel like, from this side. So we have vanilla over here, light neutral over here. Let me know what you think. I guess maybe this one looks, or this side looks just a hair warmer than this, but on the skin, they really don't look that different to me, which is crazy because they look so different when you look at the swatches. Sometimes you just have to put things on your skin. Okay, first impression here is honestly not the best, you guys. It just looks extremely dry. I mean, extremely dry. I think if you have extremely dry skin, I would say this is probably not going to be something for you, because I don't have dry skin and I still think it looks pretty dry. I do think it has smoothed over my skin just a little bit. I think if you have a lot of texture and a lot of pores, you might like that about it, but it doesn't look great on my skin, to me. I don't love how it looks, to be totally honest. And I love this product. In fact, I've said this before, I love this all over my face as concealer and foundation. I think this is the best drugstore concealer on the market, in my opinion. So I had really high hopes for this, but I just don't know. The coverage is good. It does kind of blur, but it looks dry. So unless you have super, super oily skin, as of right now, I'm thinking I don't know that you will love this, but I do want to wear it for the rest of the day. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back and I'll wear this today and see, but I'm just wondering how it will wear if it's already looking pretty dry. I mean, my skin just looks like it has a lot of makeup on it. That's just kind of my initial thoughts. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on some concealer in the shade Vanilla. So I'm gonna take some of this under my eyes. Yeah, I don't know why they would have an identical shade name and it would be a different shade and not the same as the concealer. I don't know why they would do that, but anyway. I'm just gonna add a little bit of this under my eyes. Okay, so I added that concealer under my eyes. I think that made it look a little bit better, honestly, just in this area because it added a little bit of moisture, I think. So it kind of balanced out the really matte finish. So I feel like it looks a little bit better. Now that I did that, I'm just gonna go over my eyes quickly with a sponge. I am gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. And then I'll wear this all day long and do a few check-ins for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup and I will see you in a second. I finished my makeup and this is what it looks like. You guys, I am so disappointed. I really, really wanted to be so excited about this when I tried it, but I just don't. It just does not look that good. I feel like this is one of those products, on me at least, that looks okay from a distance. It's when you look up close that it just really does not look good. Because like when I look far, like in the viewfinder right now, it doesn't look that bad. But when I look like up close in a mirror, it just really doesn't look that good. It looks dry. I do agree that it does slightly blur your skin. I do agree with that, but I think in doing that, it looks very dry. I feel like if you have textured skin, you would like the blurring aspect, but if you have any dryness, I don't think this is gonna sit well over the dryness because I don't have a lot of skin texture and I feel like it looks like it's just sitting on my skin. Honestly, the only person I'm thinking that would like this would be someone extremely oily, like all over your face. Maybe, and you're wanting to mattify. I don't think you need any powder with this whatsoever. I have no powder on my face and it looks like I do. Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. I think maybe if you have really oily skin, you might like it. If you like a super matte look, maybe it's just not what I typically go for, so I don't love how it looks, but I feel like I'm not against a matte product. I don't like how it looks on my skin personally, but I am gonna wear this all day long. I'll come back and do a few more check-ins. I'll try to get a clip in natural light as well so you can see maybe a little bit better. Let me actually turn my brightness. So this is the brightness on my camera is all the way down. I can't turn it down any farther than it is now. And I don't know if it will translate. It just does not look good. I just don't like it. I hate to say that because I love the Bare With Me concealer, but I'm gonna give it a chance still and keep wearing it throughout the day. I will see you guys in a few hours and we'll see how it's looking. All right, you guys, it's been like 5 hours since I applied this foundation and I'm standing in front of a window right now. I feel like in this light, it doesn't look that bad. It looks okay. But it's so weird. It close up in like a mirror, it does not look good. It looks very dry. But then I'm like looking at it here and I'm like, well, it doesn't look that bad. There, I mean, my skin looks decent. I don't know. I'm just, ugh. I feel like if you have really oily skin, like I said earlier, maybe you'll really like this. I just am not a fan of the dry look. Dry just doesn't look good on anybody to me. I don't care if you have really oily skin or not. I don't know. Dry is just not my thing. I feel like it's just not super flattering. But it has lasted. It hasn't worn off at all. It's just not my favorite. I mean, I'm impressed that it does kind of blur your skin, I would say. But again, I don't have a ton of texture. I just have a little bit of like noticeable pores in this area. Not my favorite thing I've used for sure, but I'm gonna wear it for a few more hours and then I'll come back and wrap up the video. All right, you guys, it's the end of the day and I wanted to close out the video. My thoughts on this really haven't changed. I will say it has lasted on me. It has not worn off really anywhere, but I don't have oily skin and I did not leave the house today. So this is only from me wearing it around the house for 8 hours at this point. It did not wear off. And I almost think now that it's kind of been on my skin for a bit, it doesn't look quite as dry. And I'm wondering if it's because my natural skin oils are kind of coming through and making it look a little bit less dry. Overall, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think unless you are very oily all over your face and you don't have much dryness, you might like this. But other than that, I just don't know how flattering this is on most skin types. But that's just my opinion. We all have different needs and things that we like on our skin. And I know there are people out there that love a matte finish. So maybe the drier matte look that I'm not loving, you might really like. It's not my favorite. I definitely wouldn't recommend it personally, but I do think there's probably a market out there for it. It's just I'm not that. I really wanted to love it. I personally would just skip it altogether and just buy this and use it all over. I just find I would rather have a product that's not this matte and use a mattifying primer if I want it to be more matte, or just set it well with powder if I want more matte in a certain area. But this is just matte all over. And I don't know, I don't like it. I just don't like how it's sitting on my skin. It looks like I just kind of have a layer of pretty thick, dry makeup on my face. That's really the only way I know to describe it. I do see the blurring. I think in this area, it did definitely blur a little bit. I don't think it's accentuating pores in any way. I also did want to say it gives great coverage. So if you're looking for coverage and you really are worried about being shiny throughout the day, you might really like this. It's just, if you're looking for something natural, I would not go for this. If you have dry skin, I would not go for this. And it's just not a very natural looking product in my opinion. Like I said, everybody has different wants and needs. These are just things that I don't necessarily like, but you might love them. One more thing I did kind of want to point out is I feel like the shades are interesting. They definitely don't look initially how they are on your face, at least for me. So I think picking a color in this might be a bit of a challenge, especially if you're doing it online. I would probably go into an Ulta store if you have one near you. I think it should be in all Ultas at this point. So I would probably go in and see the colors in person before I bought one, because you saw the difference in the vanilla shade to the vanilla concealer is very different, extremely yellow, and then the light neutral leans more on the pinky side in my opinion. Kind of neutral, but I definitely think it has a bit of a pink hue to it. So just keep that in mind when you are choosing a shade. I love NYX. I love the Bear With Me concealer, so I'm really disappointed in this one, but we all like different things, and I'm sure there's probably people out there that this would work well for. I am just not a huge fan of it. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you next time. Remember, simply be you. Bye.
Sunday morning, waking up with you. We got no plans, we got nothing to